Hello, welcome to Fireside Hang, everyone.
Hello, Lauren. Hello, everyone. How you doing?
Hi, Lauren. Hi,
Hi,
everybody.
welcome. I'm doing very well. How are you both?
Well, getting chilly in Buenos Aires, Argentina, but we are hanging on, and yeah, pretty good. Very excited.
That's great. I'm
Well,
having the exact opposite. It's summer in Portugal and it is hot, hot, hot. How about you, Ivan?
well, here in Germany, it's already 7 p.m. So yeah, the temperature is really nice. Actually, the last 2 weeks, it's been crazy here in Germany. We had like really high temperature. So I would say
Yeah.
right now it's really nice to have this conference.
Yeah, we're spread across the globe. I love it. What a fun call for us today. And those of you that are joining us from the chat, hello from Brazil. Tell us where you're joining us from, watching the stream. That would be so fun to know where everyone is tuning in from. And okay, tonight we have a theme, if you will. It's all about the Aliit Fellowship. Our two guests are members of the Technical Fellowship, and we're showcasing what they've recently, some contributions and what they are building and what they are, kind of contributing to the program, but also our ecosystem. And yeah, global force. Exactly, Spy. You get it. And you contribute as well. So Spy, welcome to the chat. Really appreciate you. New Mexico, Colorado, Idaho. Oh, so fun. So yes, we're going to start with Ivan tonight, and then Alex is going to join us for the second half. So Alex, so grateful for you to be here. We'll drop you from the stream and bring you back on. So, Ivan, you join us, as you mentioned, just briefly now, from Germany by way of Etta Labs, where you've been building some of the most ambitious full stack work in the ecosystem. Renewable energy tokenization, a sustainability platform, and then also the starter template. A lot of the people in the chat have probably cloned to get off the ground. You having a PhD in sensor systems and then also publishing 4 published papers behind you, designing a dual execution architecture that keeps proof generation on the user's device so private keys never leave home. I mean, those are all impressive accolades. And then also building in 4 language, you reach way past the English speaking crowd. So you walking us through today what your recent contribution, the community language guide that just recently landed in the docs, which is something my team has been wanting for a really long time. I just really appreciate you being a part of the ecosystem. And maybe we can start at the top, kind of the project that we're talking about today, why you wrote it in the first place. I know it kind of started as a video. What was the etymology of you creating it in the first place? And, who were you creating it for, if you will?
Okay, yeah, thank you so much for the introduction. I think it was really accurate.
I hope so.
Well, as you said, my background actually is electronic engineer. I have been working in renewable energy and also in IoT. My interest had become, I remember, it was pretty much the last 2 years, basically because of my brother. He's really into all this technology. And last year he mentioned about this interesting project called Midnight, which solved this trust and privacy layer, right? And in all the projects that I have been working previously in the last 3-4 years, everything is related with data. So for me, how this data is handled, it was really important. So basically, I saw right away that Midnight could help me a lot how to put this layer of trust and privacy among a lot of parties and how really we could negotiate this data, right? So then I was like, okay, let's go. They invited me to come to this a summit last year in London, which was really nice. I really enjoy. I saw the team. I was like, okay, I really want to get into it. And yeah, basically I did everything needed to become part of the technical community called Aliit. And well, I'm here.
Yeah, and welcome. I mean, it's so wonderful to have a familial tie into it all, and I think to be able to connect your work to it all as well. And as you say, privacy connects into everything that we're doing. We all deserve it, and so I think the connection there is it feels like your passion is, I feel it through you, right? And it's important for everyone listening at home, whatever you're building, privacy it should be at the core of it, right? It's not the added on feature. It should be at the forefront and not just tacked on later, right? So, and hi everyone at the chat. Hi Stephanie, thanks for joining us, really, and Joe Coco. So happy you're all here. Okay, and so what we're talking about this evening, or for you and I, the evening, but time zones, relative for everyone. For developers starting, just at the midnight project today, Lace is often, the wallet that is the one that they hit first. You helped us author a comparison wallet guide. When is Lace the right wallet? And when should someone maybe pick or reach for something else? What's the honest trade-off? How are you deciding what wallet to choose? And Zophie, our producer, could you pop up the guide that we're talking about right now so folks can have that? Thank you. Just when referencing, this is what we're talking about right now, this in the docs.
Yeah, sure. So I wanted to start explaining how, at least in EDA Labs, we like to see how to start giving solution to a client, right? It's really important to see the big picture, and this is going to allow us actually to decide what system we really need for our solution. That include also the wallet. So the way I see it always, I see it as three different systems.
Mm-hmm.
How my private data is handled, how my proof is done, and how my keys are handled.
Yeah.
So this part of the keys, it's actually the part of the wallet. So this is where we're going to focus today in this wallet. So I did a presentation, so we can just start with the presentation so we can go along with the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I'm going to share my screen.
Yeah, and I think part of the guide will save people the most pain is the proving. Like you lay it out plainly. 1 a.m. proves in the browser, Curia proves on the device in seconds. Lace makes you stand up a local proof server. I think you breaking it down that way. I don't know, someone building their first app this week. Yeah, I think helping them make sense of that choice, and yeah, I think it's so simple.
We're gonna come up to this.
So okay, sorry, I don't want to break. Yeah,
sure, no worries.
Lauren, stop.
Yeah. So this is, well, as Lauren said, we are going to talk about the community wallets, and basically everything came up. I remember I've been working about these wallets in the last months. One day Lauren told me, Ivan, since you have been doing documentation about this wallet, it would be nice to deliver some type of documentation where I put all documents from different wallets in a single file, so the community can actually go and find everything in just one doc and answer one simple question: that which wallet should I use for my application, right? So this is what we are trying to answer in this presentation. So the first question that we actually need to know is, what is a wallet? So the whole documentation that you will read in this QR is basically, it refers to a wallet is simply wherever the keys live. The one thing that holds your keys and approve what they sign. And everything else is the future. So then we have our keys. This live in our wallet. Then we're going to see actually where live this wallet, right? It could be in our device. It could be in some server from a third party. It could be a multi-protocol computation. It could be a lot of things, right? So, and this is going to be in charge of signing the transaction. So it's going to be approved and ready for the network. What is really important here, it's everything else, it's a future. So checking the balances, connecting to the app, a mobile app, even an AI agent, everything, we have to see it as a future. Basically, this is the main single important feature of what is a wallet. It handles our keys. So in order to understand which wallet actually is the best for our system, we create what we call a matrix that we have two axes. One axis actually answers the questions: where do our keys live? And we have four options. We can have the self-custody, okay? So you hold your own keys on your own devices. No one else can sign. Okay, we have in this case, for example, Lace, 1AM, Pura, Control, 0, Unify, etc. We have also the option of custodial. Someone else holds the keys for you. It could be the case also that the keys live in some smart contract. So the account itself is a code. This is not yet in Ignite, but in the future for sure it's going to be also available. Or it could be MPC. So no single keys. It's the keys is split into shares. So this is the MPC technology. What is the other axis? Is how do we reach to our keys? So we could do it through a browser. It could be a mobile. It could be through command line, CLI. It could be an AI agent through MCP. So we have all these four options of how to reach it. So we have answered two questions: where our keys live, so we can tell where is the home of our keys, and actually how we interact with our keys. And this, putting everything together, we create into this documentation, and you will see it, the footprint based on this matrix. So if we join, let's say, these two axes, we can actually say, okay, we have to understand what is going to be the solution for our clients. Okay, we know that the wallet has to be self-custody. Okay, so we live in this role. And our client is going to interact with the wallet through a browser. Perfect. So we have to understand that we are right now in this cell. And for example, here, I know that in this cell, we can use Lace, 1AM, Control, 0, etc. Just based on these two answers. And based on that, we can just select the wallets that we want. So this is the first a scenario which we want to put into our brain so we can actually know where we at, right? And this is the first thing we really need to understand in terms of our clients. We need to understand what the client needs, what is its system, because one of the most important things is not only knowing, okay, these are the future of my wallet, etc. We need to understand what our clients need. So based on the system that they are running, maybe if they already have a system running in a browser, okay, let's go for a browser solution. If they're trying to optimize things, okay, it could be the case that they already have a backend. We could run a CLI wallet, for example. So one of the most important things in our design is not to create friction on top of what the client already has. We need to really understand the data that our client has, and also what is really important is to understand the adversary of our client. So based on that, we can understand how critical has to be handled all this private data. So it could be the case for a really critical scenario. The best way to handle is using some MPCs and using, for example, some agents with MCPs. These are really complex technologies. Right now, as we can see here, the most available is in this row, the self-custody, is where we are going to see most of the wallets available right now in Midnight. But it doesn't mean like in the future it's going to come up all these features. We are all waiting for the passport as well. We have, for example, the case of Dynamics, which based on the documentation I have read, already have this MPC technology, and they deliver an SDK in which we can interact with this with our keys, right? And here I want to thank also Norman, also Oduame is a technical representative that I have been working to work on this documentation. And we decided to split. At the beginning, I had a big file with all the documentation. As you can see, it could be a lot of scenarios where our wallet could actually live and how we can interact. So you can imagine if we put everything into one big documentation, at the end, it's not going to be really friendly for the community. So we decided to split it into these four sections. You're going to see in the documentation the first part, which is the overview. Basically, it answers how to choose and find the cell, which I just showed in the matrix. In number two, it's related with the integration. It answers how to connect, and it's more oriented into browser wallets. So actually our door is using the browser, right? The third is focused onto the CLI and NCP. So it's more automate for agent doors. Okay, and the final one, it's more related with the final decisions. It answers, okay, which one I really need based on my requirements. And I also put there all the reference that you can, if you want to deep into more technical details, which you cannot find in this documentation, you can go to the source and look for a new updated documentation. This is really important to say. This data has to be updated all the time. This technology moves really fast. So whatever information you find there is going to be based on until 15th of May, but this should be updated all the time because everything updated, right? Okay. This is how you will see the documentation. When I finish this presentation, I'm gonna go through this SDK so we can see actually all the documents live. Okay. Then, as I mentioned before, we answered these two questions: where is the home of our wallet, and how is the door, right? So where it lives and how we interact with our wallet. We have additional features of our wallet, and for example, one of those is how our wallet communicate with our application, right? For example, for the web applications, we have the app connector. So we have for every wallet a way to communicate with the application, right? So let's read here. Every midnight wallet announces itself to your page the same way. So your app talks to that one standard. So this is really important. And here, then also I'm gonna show a repo that we have in the labs where we have integrated that Lace wallet and the 1AM one. So one recommendation would be, as we have this kind of a standard to interact with the wallets, really easy solution is to have both options. So at the end, the client can decide whether to just Lace on 1AM. So maybe it could be the case that I need some special feature from one, so I can have these both options. So you can find this in the repository of ETA Labs. There's a repo where we have already connected this Lace 1AM using a React app. What else can do a wallet? Well, on top of everything we have talked about, we already know this. We can see the money, send transactions, sign and approve, generate and proof. Exactly. This is a really interesting part for the case of Midnight, as we already mentioned. The way we see it is we have three really important parts on top of the wallet. Is the wallet, the other is the proof server itself, and then how the private data is handled. So for the case of the proof server, also we can imagine it's where it's generated this proof, right? It could be the case, for example, for Lace, you need to run a proof server yourself in the machine in a Docker. In the case of 1AM, this can be done in the browser using WhatsApp. So these are difference of depending where you actually need and how critical is your data. It could be the case that, okay, it's too hard for my client, or I don't know, to have a Docker and run it locally. I prefer to run it in the browser. Maybe it has some limitations among memory stuff, but this is something that you can go later once you already know your basic features that your client needs. The most important thing to have in mind is to reduce friction with the client. And I would say this is the most important part. You can create the best solution ever, but at the end, if this involves migrating 100% of the system that our clients already have, this is not a good solution. So the best thing is not change the whole system, but just put a layer on top which the client can actually use, right? And it could be the case that also this proof, it can run remotely, right? We have also with Lace, we can select this remote. And it could be the case that also this remote, it could be a TEE, right? So all this proof is done in a secure environment. Another feature of the wallet, for the case of, as we already know, for Midnight, we need Dust to pay the transaction. And in order to have Dust, we need Night, right? So the Night is going to be generating the Dust we need in order to interact with the network. And as a wallet can cover the fees, for example, a 1 a.m. it offers these tasks for our transaction. But this is really important to always keep reading the documentation and see that it could be the case in the next month, another wallet it could do the same, right? But this is a feature that it could be the case. Okay, so basically that's it. This is a whole, as you can see right now in the documentation, we are more focused into this part, this role of the self-custody, since already the most amount of wallets are located in this role. And well, this is not me. This is my brother.
I was like, are you gonna explain about this?
Yeah. So I'm gonna show you the page of Eda Labs on YouTube. We have really nice documentation. I invite all of you to go and visit. We have documentations about the wallets, how zero knowledge proof are handled. We have really deep technical documentation. You will see my brother's documentation. You need a really good coffee to see all the documentation. But it's really interesting, and it's really helpful to understand deeply all this technology. And well, this is the path you need to follow all the time, right? You need to choose them to see actually how to integrate and how is this going to be shipping this to the solution of the client. So now I'm gonna show here, just to keep into the line of what I already showed. So we have here the documentation of Eda Labs. I invite you guys to see, there's this really amazing video about Lace and 1 a.m. It explains deeply the features of each one, how actually interact with our app, all the protocols, standards, etc. We have also the wallets for CLI. Let me see where we have it. So it's here, the Midnight Wallet CLI. So this is really interesting if you want a backend, for example, to interact with the wallet, or you have a agent who you want to interact with the wallet since it has an MCP server. Also, I have mentioned about how all these three systems, the privacy data, the proof, and the wallets are handled before getting to the Midnight Network. This is a really important part. So in this really interactive video, we have explained these three parts, and we have used we have simulate a cat and a mouse in order to explain in a really funny way how the mouse, in this case our client, simulates our private data and how he wants to really protect this data, and how the cat is going to be the one who wants to chase this data. So depending how powerful is your cat and how critical is the data for your mouse, you actually, it's going to come out the answer of all this. So it's not just what I want to stress here. I cannot stress enough that it's not only just going there and then understanding all the features. What is really critical here is understanding your client, your solutions, and what is critical and how powerful could be the adversary. Well, also here, you can see the Midnight template, what we have in a starter template. So if you really want to start making an app today, I'm not lying about it, you can do it today. You just clone this repo, you have already running here. Everything is wired, the two wallet Lace 1 a.m. and it's already running in React app. So basically you have everything to have like a foundation for whatever applications you want to build on top of that. So I invite you guys to just clone it. It's public, and it's going to be really helpful to start building in Midnight.
Everyone watching this right now should go star that repo too. Let's get you some stars on that.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Excellent.
And
Great
then,
resource.
well, this is the final documentation. I wanted to leave it to the end just to close this presentation. So you can come to the Midnight docs, you come to SDK. In SDK, you're going to find the wallets. And basically here in the wallets is where you're going to find these 4 sections that I mentioned at the beginning, how we divided all the documentation. You will see in the overview, just the introduction. Here you will see, if you come here, you will see the matrix. Then I have this really nice table that depending on your scenarios, you can actually select which wallet is the best for you. So, for example, if you're a consumer, you want to process the app on the desktop phone, okay, 1 a.m., Lace, Cura for Android, Control for multi-chain, and so forth. You just can come to this documentation. Everything is pretty well explained, all these scenarios. And well, this is really important. I'm going to read it. I really like this summary here. So 2 rules to cover most cases. For a browser, the app, basically the 2 solutions you will see is 1 a.m. and Lace. As a recommendation with this template, you will see that it's already integrated both. So then it's just up to the user which one he prefer, right? On which features, especially from each wallet, is recommended. So you can just use both, right? And well, you can use the CLI and the CP column. So this is 1 a.m. proof in the browser, Cura proof on device. So this is really nice features that it could be really, really, really important in some scenarios for some applications, right?
How would you map wallet choice to team maturity, like a hackathon prototype versus maybe a production app?
Well, yeah, at the end for a production app, I would say the most important thing is you need to have everything tested, right?
Yeah. I guess
all the words. So this
I'm
is
just
the most
thinking of a new joiner. Yeah. June, I want to answer your question just really quickly. Yes, for the Catalyze team in Korea, please go give them this template that EdLabs has created. That's a great resources for teams. And EdLabs is a partner, and we absolutely back that template that they're creating. It's an incredible resource.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much here to Eric Romero. He really worked a lot in this template.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really helpful, even for me when I started here. And I can really understand all of you when I just started here. All this information, it's crazy the amount of information, and you just don't know how to start. So
there's more we can do too, right? There's more work to be done in the docs too for more clarity, so developers choose the right wallet faster as well. I think that we can, I don't know. Yeah, there's just more and more wallet. If you're building a wallet also out there watching this right now, there's more space for you here, right? Where you're not done. This ecosystem is still growing and just beginning. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's a lot of information. We here to reference. I think it was more than 2 weeks trying to put everything together. Here, actually, when you just go through at the end, I just put some glossary, and here I actually put all the sources where I acquire all the data. So you just can go through all the documentation. Everything is integrated, reference.
Yeah.
And it really, if you just want to know where it comes all the data, you just come to these links. Excellent. And I really recommend doing that. It's always nice to see, because here actually after 3-4 months, here it could be something refreshed, something new, for example. And basically in these links you can see this new data. So it's always nice to have this kind of reference, which is going to help us to start building and not start from scratch. So this is one also recommendation what I saw from a lot of developers. We all want to create everything, right? So I think it's good to use.
Was it last week's Fireside that Norman joined to talk about Korea, his wallet? So if you're curious about that, go check that video out. It was a deep dive into his wallet. So there's tons of information about that as well. So just more content, more information to consume. And great presentation, Ivan. Excellent as always. What a joy. Seriously.
Also, it was really joyful, and hopefully it's not the last time I'm here with the community.
No, please. Sure, you're welcome back anytime. Seriously.
Next time would be really nice if I can join with my brother so people can see us.
I would freaking love it. Let's seriously do that. Yeah. All right. We'll be in touch for sure. Okay. I think you have some questions in the chat. So if you want to jump into the YouTube, maybe to answer, I think June had some questions. So if you want to jump in, that would be super helpful. But let's transition. Alex Chansker. Oh, dang it. I wanted to say it so confidently and then just jump into it. Apologies. Would you say your last name for me?
Peschanker. It's not as hard as it looks.
No, it's not. And then you know, when you get nervous about it, and then that's what happens.
I know. I've been there all my life. Don't worry.
Of course. And okay, but you joined us from Buenos Aires, and I appreciate you so much for being here today because you have such deep knowledge and experience within this world, right? You've been here for what, 5 years in the Cardano ecosystem. You're a member of the Night Forest as well as the Aliit. You're an alum from the Plutus program. We're part of the Marlowe Pioneer, correct?
Yeah, I have the first implementation of Marlowe in the world. So
okay,
yeah,
you were a mentor for our first ever Buenos Aires hackathon. You are, as I said, a builder, community founder. You're a part of our LATAM Cardano community, as well as the Intersect LATAM hub, which of course, brought us all. Brought you here. I think we think of you as our kind of like dual skilled, you're technical and business. And that's a nice blend for our Aliit program because you wear many hats, but you connect us to sides of the community that our Aliit program maybe doesn't get to see. And here today, you're here to talk about Open Privacy Lab that you started as a fellow and your first 2 products, the Agentic Multipass and Meritpass. I'm so happy to have you.
Indeed. Thank you very much for the intro. Yeah, I like to think of myself as a technologist. And as a technologist, you not only care about the technology itself, but rather the value that humans can get out of that.
Yeah.
And I try to be that, bridge, how we can teach humans that technology well used can expand ourselves. And that's the future that we are living in right now. Maybe 20 years ago, it was hard to realize, but now with all the agentic economy that we are entering into, or we are living into, that's a reality. And I think technology is here for that reason. It's giving us the right time to be purpose driven. And I even have a paper on that calling, it is kind of my manifesto, which is the economy of purpose. And I think technology gives us that opportunity. Of course, I'm an optimist. It could be very worse than that.
It could be dark.
But, yeah.
But it's interesting, right? Just to connect it back to the wallet conversation we were having earlier, if we zoomed out, the row that jumped out to me most was the one about the AI agents, wallets an agent can connect to and use to hold and move real funds, alongside it, that the Curia idea, where no seed phrase at all, or holding no seed phrase at all, your identity just lives in a passkey. That's a different world from typing a seed phrase. Where do we think this all goes, right? Like, what becomes possible on midnight, agents transacting privately on your behalf, that just can't happen on a public chain today, right? There's a lot there.
It is a lot there, and we are just in the beginning. I think.
Bye, Ivan.
Yeah, we are. Bye, Ivan. Great job, by the way.
Yeah,
Ivan
excellent. So good.
An amazing fellow. All the ADA Labs people are amazing people, and they are very open to to connect and collaborate, and they are doing great stuff for the community. So I love to see what they are doing, and the way he presented the wallet comparison is amazing, and then he do it interactively for you.
Yeah, being able to interact with it too, as I think for new devs, it's going to be really nice to have the visual. There's a lot. Anyway, but
it is what we need, more human stuff. We all know that we are in a very complex environment, and technology is getting in a way darker and darker for normal humans, but there is a way to evaluate that technology from a human perspective. And I think all the things that I think we are doing, or we are at least pushing to do in the Midnight ecosystem, is exactly that. It's turning that technology more human oriented, and I think that's what is needed.
So, what was your itch? Tell me about starting Open Privacy Lab as a fellow. That is something new. It sounds like no one asked you to start it, right? Like this is it wasn't an assignment as a part of the fellowship. So what problem were you looking at that made you think, okay, this needs its own space?
Well, I'm a product guy, and I love products from the technology perspective that can really, really solve human problems. And I've been preaching this forever. I created a lot of years ago an entrepreneur academy, startup academy, and I was teaching exactly this. When you start a new product with new technology, you have to start from human needs.
Okay.
And that's kind of the key for have a lot of chances for success. If you are solving real problems for real humans, you have something that is unique. And thinking about that and thinking about the amazing technology that Midnight is providing us, I wanted to create something that can help people that are coming to the ecosystem or existing people in the ecosystem on how really to create those products that will solve human needs. And that's why I created this Open Privacy Lab. I always love to play. I always love to play. I always love, this possibility that AI is giving us, to dedicate more time to what matters most, which is, not coding actually. And I'm a coder for many years, more than 30 years. But I think now we can focus in what matters, and we can, do 5 things at the same time. Technology is expanding us. So I created this kind of a services organization that will allow me to help other people to create amazing products that customers will love, and also create my own products as well. And I'm doing it also with help of AI. So I'm trying to be a one-person company, I will say, with many agents doing stuff, but also, don't losing that human interaction. I would love this to be an open space for many builders to get together and solve real privacy problems and human problems.
So let's talk about the first product, maybe the Agentic Multipass. What is that? Tell me about that one.
Let me open up my screen.
Great.
I think it will be easier to show that.
As I understand it, it's agents acting on someone's behalf without the user touching the plumbing, right? Like, I'd like to
actually
a concrete moment, right?
The manifesto I have and the whole idea of this service organization is that agents are becoming, the hands, ears, and eyes of everything that humanity will be doing. All the hard labor will be done by agents, and you will have personal agents. The thing is, right now, we are not thinking too much of all the information, the privacy of information, the limits that we are thinking that those agents will bind, and they are not really, you cannot really make them do exactly what you want them to do. Also, there's no ID for agents, so you don't really know if you're interacting with an agent, if that agent is whom he claims to be. So it is a very fussy environment right now, and I think we have to keep humans in the loop, and that's the main goal for this. So I created this first project, which is very interesting headline there. What happens when agents go rogue? We have many cases today, even for large companies like XAI. Grok was cheated by some tweets that coded the tweet in Morse code and made Grok to read it out loud, which was a transaction command. So Grok actually handed over a lot of money to this scammer because he wrote he read a Morse tweet, and that happens all the time. And I want this to be a safe environment. We have to generate this trust layer that Midnight technology and all the things that we are doing can really generate, and that will happen when agents can be harnessed. And I think what matter most for agents are all these 6 primitives. First, an agent has to have an identity, and that identity has to be unique and verifiable.
Okay.
Then humans have to be able to demonstrate that they control an agent. So an agent can demonstrate that they have a specific mandate for that human or organization that they can act on behalf. They have to demonstrate capabilities. Those capabilities and tools have to be So they understand and can demonstrate that they can act up to this, boundary. And of course, that mandate could be, changed across time. So there has to be a status. Is that mandate still active or is revoked? And that's the idea of this Agentic Multipass, which is basically is being framed from the agent perspective. So the idea is that the agent will do everything, but a human will be the approver in the loop.
Right. Yeah. So interesting. Okay. Yeah. So I guess, when I was thinking about it, I was framing it before this call. I was thinking it from the lens of like, okay, an agent needs to prove something about me to do its job, but shouldn't see everything about me. What does that actually look like? But this makes sense. I totally get it. All right. What was hard about building this? What was fun? What evolved? Since you've joined Build Club? Build Club, by the way, if you are joining Midnight Stream for the first time, it's our 8-week-long proof of concept program that helps folks. Maybe they finished a hackathon and they're a winner and they're taking their idea that won that event and incubating the idea. It's not an incubator program, but taking that idea and proof of concept, building it out and validating the idea, taking the code and really building that code out, but also workshopping their pitch, their presentation, getting feedback, trying to build out their user base, et cetera, and getting it ready to then start pitching it and trying to find users and getting it ready to start taking it to potentially a incubator or taking it to market as well. What week are we at this moment in Build Club? Even is the pretty
well. Actually, Build Club is a great program that help you out to spot your blind spots. Basically, excellent. As an entrepreneur and managing technology that is very new in the space and very complex, requires multiple eyes and multiple brains,
different perspectives, lens. Yeah.
Which is something that humans are very entitled to do. I think the best teams that I ever had are those that are diverse and that respect each other, so we can see the same thing from different perspectives and get it better. And I think Build Club is giving me exactly that. And as you said, it's sort of incubator because it start with an idea or an MVP of a product, very early stages, and it give you a help to overcome all the first challenges that you will get in order to make it a good business model and a good product to be out there with
what
customers.
Did your first version get wrong? I'm curious, like kind of where.
Well, I always remember a phrase that you said, and thanks for that, which is when you are working with privacy technology, the first thing that you have to ask is, will your product work without privacy as a central thing? If so, don't build with with Midnight, And I think it is a very interesting question, because why making complex something that could be simpler if you can do it, And I think that's the first thing. And when privacy is your main thing, there is a lot of things to that you will be faced to, and the first thing is, what are you going to be proving? What things have to be remaining private, in what context, and what things will be public, and how you make that work. Especially when you are working with agents that they hallucinate and they do whatever they want, and today we are trusting a bunch of text files that will hint the agent how to behave, and then you're probably trusting your savings to that agent that is hinted, and I want that to be trusted, and for that there is a very complex, a bunch of things that you have to prove, and this is great in a PowerPoint, but how you prove a mandate, what is private in a mandate and what is public in a mandate, how you operate that in an open ecosystem. And that is the first challenge that I faced.
Sure.
It's not already all done, But the first one, which is the identity piece, the control piece, and some of the status piece, all those are solved by midnight in a selective disclosure type of environment. So I'm very proud of what can be done right now.
Yes, it's a paradigm shift, right? To be thinking when everything is public, and that is what we are. That is how we are taught what blockchain is. Now to be taught, or to have to learn that everything is private by default, and to be thinking about, all right, now what do I need? What do I want to disclose and why? And to make that shift in how we are programming into designing an application. I was just trying to explain this to a bunch of new developers starting to build on Midnight. Like it's almost why sometimes starting with Web 2 developers and explaining the concept of Midnight is a bit easier, because I'm not having to ask them to like shift how they think about blockchain, right? Because I'm just like explaining the concept, like, just walking it out for them. And then I'm like, oh, and then by the way, every other blockchain is completely different. Like, sorry, bye. Good luck out there in the world.
The other day I was talking with some technical fellow, and I was telling them that my experience with Midnight versus Cardano, which is the other chain that I really got deep into the technical stuff. With Cardano, I have the most challenging technical experience in my life. It was very, very hard to create something. Once you get it done, it works like charm, and you are totally certain that it is rock solid. With Midnight, the experience is far more easier. But the challenge is how you think as a human. As you said, you have to shift your paradigm, and you have to think in a different way. Once you have that solved, that you don't need a single code to solve that, when you have that solved, implementing that is very easy, and it's very, in a way, elegant and simple. And I love that from Midnight. But then you have to put your time and effort more on the strategic thing and the architectural thing of the privacy, which force you to think a lot and really be sure about what you're doing,
And Spy, thank you. Very perfectly describes the Build Club. Build Club is a 2-month idea stage program designed to help early stage founders turn privacy-focused concepts into viable businesses. Perfect, exactly. I was in the room when we wrote that sentence, and wow, I should just have that ingrained in my brain. And I really cobbled that poorly together when I was trying to describe it. But yes, I'm glad you're in it. I think and Spy you as well. It's just an excellent, anyone who's watching this, just if you're wanting just a cohort to collaborate with, as you say, this being together to get those perspectives on how to be thinking about these ideas. That's the value in it, right? Is as we're learning about how to shift our paradigm, that's important to be talking about it with people.
And also, I'm a believer of agilism. I practice that everything in all aspects of my life, not only the technical side.
Sure.
And that comes from a long line of methodologies and way of thinking how to produce things in a better way. And I love all the Kaizen stuff and stuff from the Japanese. And I think what Build Club provides to you is to really put you to a stress in what matters, so you stop and think. Instead of just running and being the hamster in the wheel, is think. I mean, you are the entrepreneur, you are the brain behind what is going to be out there. You have to think. You have to allow others to help. You have to really understand the problem you're solving, for whom you're solving it, and then be able to, structure a very succinct and a good way of telling others what you're doing and how. And I think Build Club is perfect for that, because it puts you in that, constraint. And I think when you are under constraint, the brightest ideas and execution happens.
Totally. Yeah, it's a great point. And I would I should absolutely shout out that we've recently launched the Night Sky, which is our true incubator program for projects that are ready to launch to investment. And then we also today announced Ryzen's from Moon to Full. Forgive me, I'm all of a sudden now completely forgotten the name of the Ryzen program. It is we are calling it. Let me just pull up the name of what we are calling it. New Moon to Full. There it is. Thank you, Sophie. And it is a 6-stage program for incentive program, $8,000 equivalent of rewards each month for builders who are wanting to take ideas to proof of concept all the way to full applications that we are ready to give out to builders. So we have lots of incentives to build right now. But okay, talk to me about Meritpass. I'm excited for this one. Tell me.
This is a very interesting product. It's halfway baked, I will say. I launched it like twice, and then I take a step back and rethink about that. It started, to be like a Tinder type of application for collaborators and projects. I always love to make connections, and I think when you are creating a new ecosystem, you need that. You need a way to connect the amazing talent that is out there, the amazing projects that are being built, and get them linked, and then generate these amazing connections that can be happen through this. And from there, I'm thinking about privacy. I evolved it into a kind of selective disclosure job application. So imagine a world when you get rid of biases when you apply to a job, because you don't have to discuss your name, your age, your LinkedIn, your whatever, and you can prove who you are, your skills, your abilities, your past track. And then the bots or the company can really do an objective job on candidate applications, and not what it is right now, because today there is a lot of discrimination based on genotypes, on ages, or place where you live, or your gender, or your skin color, or many other stuff that are making those projects to really lose amazing talent that can really help them. And I think it is a very interesting concept. I'm still evolving that, in order how you prove all that, which is a huge amount of broad
It's a big task, yeah.
It is. But I have a kind of a scaffold there, and it's I kept the Tinder thing because I love to play. So you swipe left, you swipe right to the different companies, and I like that. And well, this is just a start, and I think these two products have a very interesting, possibilities and opportunities. And then also, the 11 network will serve for me to help other builders and entrepreneurs, and also, builders to build their own products as well, because I love to serve, and this is meant to help that and get amazing products out there.
So let me see if I am understanding it correctly. Essentially, it would be, so I'm an employer and I say that these qualifications are important to me. This person must have this level of degree, and this person must live in this geo region. What else would be qualification? And they have this year of experience. But then this would do the search, and then I then don't see the other pieces that would create bias. It gives me it does the checks, and I know that these people have all of those things.
All right. The idea is to have an index of matchability, I will say, right, that provides the company and the applicant a transparent way to see if you are a match for that, and the company to see who are the matches for that, and then trust that those proofs are correct. So you list your short list of candidates based on that match, and not in anything else. Of course, later you will have the interviews and all that human process that have to happen.
Of course, you eventually have to meet the person. You have to, but at the weed out phase, you're not going to have the bias, is what you're hoping to eliminate. Yeah, absolutely.
And this comes from personal experience. I've been applying to jobs for many years, and it's give me a lot of frustration when I see that the job description is perfect for me and I have all the experience, and then when I apply, then I receive an email 2 hours after I applied, that it took me 5 hours to generate the application. 2 hours after I apply, you are not the right candidate for us.
Right.
And I think that is bias, because if I am honest with me and I honest with the job description, and I think I can, do all that, and I have the qualifications, experience, etc., why I'm not the right person? I didn't even get the, my foot on the door for the first time.
No,
So I think it could help a lot.
I love it. I think it's really important. It's a great demonstration of privacy being at the core, right? And it's solving a problem and helping people, right? Like that is the goal, helping people and the freedom of ACE, right? And association, commerce, and expression. This is expression. This is that. This is helping people express and be who they are. And yeah, I appreciate people just coming up with these use cases that are, moving us forward in a better way. And
it's what I love from Midnight. It is allowing us to really think human aspect of the technology.
Yes.
It is.
Oh yeah.
Why this?
That is your core. That is you. It really
Yeah.
sounds like I love that is so important to you. Well, what Zophi, we're really close to time, so we'll have to start wrapping up. But I appreciate today. This was such a joy to be able to get to know you a little bit better too. But I thank you for showcasing what you're building and helping everyone understand Build Club a little bit better. I think that this was a nice showcase, to the Aliit and to Build Club too. I think both of those programs are so important to our developer activation strategy at Midnight and the developer relations team in general. And Spy, thank you for explaining the difference between our technical fellowship and the Build Club. The fellowship is a very small program right now. We have 17 folks in the program. We have more candidates, around 80 people who are working to become fellows, but right now it is a small group of folks who are have made it to become fellows within the Aliit. ALIIT is how we spell that, by the way. It means in Mandalorian, family or clan. And it's not really family that you're born into, but it's earned family. These people have earned their way into this Midnight family by contributing and building applications on network and giving back to the ecosystem, helping people in the Discord, helping developers debug, building applications, as I said, but also being advocates, being here, educating people, teaching people how to, as we saw Ivan creating content, hosting meetups. We have people hosting meetups in all over the globe, just in general, helping spread the word about Midnight and really, truly being an extension of our developer relations team. So that's a core goal of this program. So if that sounds interesting to you, Alex is a resource to learn more about it. So is Ivan, as well as myself, of course. But yes, I thank you so much, Alex, for joining us today, and Ivan, if you're still on the call. But thank you, everyone, for joining the chat too.
You're more than welcome, and I'm very thrilled to be here. And what you mentioned brought me a memory. I spent 7.5 years in Microsoft, and I've been through a lot of leadership, training. And one thing that I love from that, it is that they were teaching you this idea of servant leader.
Yes.
And I think this is exactly what we are doing with these programs. Is training people to become that servant leader, which is you are successful through others. Not exactly what you are doing by yourself, but through others, and how you help them to reach their potential. So I love that.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's the core thing I look for when I hire onto my team. If the number one thing people don't lead with is that they want to help other people and help developers learn, then they are not the right person for it. And it's really what I look for in the Aliit fellows as well. So I see that in both of you and so many folks that are in the chat as well. So anyhow, yeah, thank you everyone. I hope you have an awesome Wednesday and thank you for building on midnight. I can't wait to see what you're all creating. And yeah, we'll see you on next week on another Fireside Hang. Cheers.
Champion, guys.